Hi, welcome to Love Saranghae with Peter and Andrea. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take you on a journey into the exciting world of entrepreneurship, relationships, and the secrets behind achieving that coveted glow. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. Whether you're struggling with breakouts, wondering which ingredients actually work, or just looking to level up your skincare routine, we've got you covered. During these Q&A episodes, we dive into science-backed skincare knowledge, best myths, and give you the real truth about what works and what really doesn't. Today we have 2 questions from our listeners, so let's get into it. Ready?
Let's go.
All right, so question number 1 came from someone by the name of Gladwell M. Her skin type, I don't know, and her skin concern is hyperpigmentation and skin tone. And her age or skin stage is mid-mature, which is between 45 and 55. Okay, so let's hear her question. Hi, Saranghae, I'm interested in your vitamin C serum, but isn't 25% L-ascorbic acid very irritating? What makes Saranghae's formula more tolerable than the others?
Okay, this is a good question, and it's one worth talking about because I think vitamin C currently is the most popular corrective that people are using right now, more so than retinol, especially the younger crowd. I think vitamin C is starting to really resonate with them, at least in Korea anyway. And it's mostly because it's very versatile. You can use it AM, if you use a sunscreen, PM as well. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you can still have vitamin C. Yeah. And it's also because vitamin C is a cofactor in producing or synthesizing collagen. So vitamin C is necessary and has to be present for our body to actually synthesize collagen. So it's a very important part of collagen synthesis. So to answer Gladwell's question, right, quite simply, yes, it can be irritating if you have sensitive skin, but modern vitamin C formulations like ours take this into account. And we formulate it using some skin-soothing ingredients to counteract the potential irritation. Where this is coming from Gladwell, I'm going to assume, is the study done around 15 years ago. Actually, it was sponsored by SkinCeuticals. And they found that 20% was the limit at which the skin can take without irritation. But that was about 15, 20 years ago. And that's been kind of debunked over the years. And 25%. So much has changed. Yeah. Modern vitamin C formulations have gone way past that with different formulation technologies and formulation techniques. Yeah. So, it's way past that. The other thing you can do is you can also start very slowly. You apply it every 2 or 3 days, get used to it, and then you kind of increase the frequency as that goes along, right? So there are multiple ways you can kind of counteract this thing. So yes, it can be irritating if skincare ingredients like vitamin C irritate you. And whether it's 20%, 15%, or 25%, if your skin is irritated to vitamin C, it will be irritated anyway, right? Like the percentages are minimal in terms of how the skin reacts. But our formulation, like many modern formulations, is made for sensitive skin. And how we do it is actually a trade secret. So I can't share exactly the methodology by which we do so. But what we can say is that we are one of very few brands in the world right now that offer a 25% vitamin C concentrate.
Pure L-ascorbic acid.
Yes, not ascorbyl acetate or ascorbyl palmitate, or the derivatives of ascorbic acid, but pure ascorbic acid with 1% tranexamic acid, and it's suitable for sensitive skin.
I'll tell you, I have probably the most sensitive skin of anybody that I know. I react very easily to things. Even if my hands are dirty and I touch my face, I forget. I'll often have like a red mark or bump or something itchy on my face.
Yeah.
And this vitamin C is the only vitamin C that I've been able to use consistently without any irritation, and I use it every day. Right now I'm on the vitamin C cycle, so I cycle in between retinol and vitamin C. Right now I'm using vitamin C, and I'm probably in the middle of my 45-day cycle, and I have no irritation whatsoever.
Yeah.
It is a very, very gentle formula, but it's a powerful one. It works very well.
I will guarantee that 99.9% of our listeners or anybody who tries our vitamin C will not react to it. I mean, there is that 0.1%, who I haven't found. Yeah, we haven't found yet, but there will, somebody out there with
eventually
6.5 billion people out there, one person will be sensitive.
The other thing to note is, as Peter said earlier, is what are you doing before and after to combat that potential for irritation? And for example, after I use the vitamin C, I always follow with snail mucin. And snail mucin is designed to really calm down the skin. So reduce inflammation, reduce redness. It's packed with antioxidants, and it really does help to cool down and just deflame whatever could be from the active, which in this case is the vitamin C. So if you're concerned about irritation in any way, then I would recommend getting the vitamin C with the snail mucin and using them together.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, that applies to all actives or correctives like retinol or even azelaic acid or any of the, like you can go down to isotretinoin and other prescription stuff like adapalene. If you use correctives alone without wrapping it around the skincare routine, what you do is basically you're doing the one side of the skincare routine, but not the other. So you're doing the inflammatory corrective side, but not the anti-inflammatory skin healing side. You need both. You need to balance both to have your skin in homeostasis and in balance, because that's the most important thing. Your skin needs to get back into homeostasis or balance, or else it'll always want to do so. And that leads to breakouts, that leads to dry skin, irritation, all of that stuff. And so the biggest misnomer out there is that, for hyperpigmentation, you use our vitamin C or our hyperpigmentation combo, and that's it. But that's just half the equation. You need to bring that down and return your skin back to its resting state.
I agree. I hope that's helpful. And as always, if you have other questions around that or something's come up in this conversation, please write in and we'll be happy to answer it for you.
Yeah, I mean, we like to, before we go on, we like to touch into the scientific side of our formulation, but we don't want to go too deep unless the question asks us to go really, really deep, in which case we will. But we don't want to bore our listeners for, 20 minutes on end with all the formulation and chemical conversations. So if you're interested, please let us know and we'll delve into it. But I think this is good enough to go to the next side.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So our next question comes from our customer, Rebecca S. Skin type is combination and sensitive. Her skin concern is I don't know. Skin stage is mature. And she has a question about our sunscreen. She says, hi, Saranghae. A question about your sunscreen. Does it leave a white cast on your face, and is it non-nanoparticle sunscreen? And this is a really good question because we've been getting a lot of questions about nanoparticles in our sunscreen. We'll explain why. Andrea?
Okay, so sunscreen is a non-nano particle sunscreen. Yes, to answer that question. What is nanoparticles? Nanoparticles are smaller than 100 nanometers or 0.00001 millimeters. And
No, 0.00001 millimeters. Yeah. That's like 5 zeros.
There's so many zeros.
Just think 5 zeros.
Okay.
So it's tiny.
Millimeters. And the problem is that it's so small that it can get absorbed by the skin. So our particles are non-nano in the 2,500 to 3,000 nanometer range, which does not get absorbed by the skin.
Okay, so we should explore why that's a problem, I guess. So zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are obviously heavy metals. We don't want zinc oxide or zinc polluting our bloodstream so let's make sure we keep this clear. If you ingest zinc oxide right now, like you take a shot of zinc oxide in a liquid and you drink it, you're not going to die. It's actually not that toxic.
But we don't recommend you do that.
No. Please don't drink zinc oxide nor titanium dioxide.
That is not the advice.
Actually, having said that, titanium dioxide is toxic. So, okay, so stay away from that. So let's talk zinc oxide. If you drink zinc oxide, what we call acute poisoning, it's not poisonous. So you go to the hospital, they'll tell you to lie down, and you can just kind of pass it through. But zinc oxide continuously into your bloodstream for the next 40 years, not a good thing. That is what causes things like mutations and cancer. So you don't want to deal with that kind of stuff long term. That is why having zinc oxide in a nanoparticle form, which the reason why you do that is because it allows for the zinc oxide to blend in really well with a sunscreen formulation. And so it looks really, really nice and smooth and light. That nanoparticle has the capacity to get absorbed by the skin and then into your bloodstream over time. That's why you want to avoid that. You want to get into something called microparticles. Microparticles are like 0.00 millimeters, or in the 2,000 to 3,000 nanometer range. So if you do the math, that's about 30 times larger than a nanoparticle. And so they sit on top of your skin and they don't get absorbed because your skin, your stratum corneum, the filter, is too small for the microparticles to get through. It'll sit on top of your skin. That's what our formulation does, and that's what all zinc oxide formulation should do.
Okay, so I hope we did not confuse you, because I feel a little bit like we did.
Probably, because I confuse people.
Let's just go back and review before we shut this down. First thing to note is that a sunscreen is a non-nanoparticle sunscreen. So that means that the particles do not get into your bloodstream. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense so far. And so that's the first part of the question. So that's the most important part that you need to understand, is that with non-nanoparticle sunscreen, the particles of the sunscreen, zinc oxide, does not get into your bloodstream. It stays on the surface. Now, the next side of that question, or the next part of that question, is, does it leave a white cast? Because most mineral sunscreens do. And that is why people often choose chemical over mineral, even if the chemicals are really not good for you in a chemical sunscreen. So if you want to be wearing it every day, you don't want to have this white cast all over your face. So that was one of the problems that we solved when we created our SPF. And that's something that we're really proud of. And that is why we're getting a lot of publicity for a sunscreen. White Cheekbone collaborated with us and so on. It's very hard to find a sunscreen that is mineral, that doesn't leave a white cast. And it doesn't matter what skin type you have. So if you're a darker skin tone, if you're a lighter skin tone, it doesn't matter. It does not leave a white cast.
Yeah. So if anybody's wondering how it does that, if you take pure zinc oxide, 100% zinc oxide, remember back in the old days, if you go to a swimming pool and you see those lifeguards with that white, that's pure zinc oxide. That's 100% pure zinc oxide, which is great, right? You can wear that. Nobody wants to walk around with a white cast like that.
Unless you're a cool lifeguard.
Yeah. So what our technology does is it takes about 14% pure zinc oxide into a solution, which is our sunscreen solution. And we have formulations that basically allow the zinc oxide to expand evenly in that sunscreen so that it acts like almost 100% zinc oxide without being 100% zinc oxide. It's 14% zinc oxide in solution, spread out evenly. So that's why there is no white cast. If you wore one pure zinc oxide and that's it, yes, it would leave a white cast. So that's our technology.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question and it all makes sense. Sometimes I think Peter and I get excited and we geek out in the science, and then it can be confusing. So if that is the case, please let us know. Otherwise, I think that's it for today. That's a wrap on today's sunscreen. That's a wrap on today's skincare Q&A. We hope you got the answers you're looking for, and maybe even discovered something new to add to your routine, like sunscreen if you're not using it already. And if you have a question that you'd love to get answered on the show, please send me a DM at Aurora Skin, or you can leave us a review here with your request. Or you can also write us in our skin consultation section of our website. And we will leave all of that in the show notes for you to find it easily. So, thanks again for being here, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. Your ratings and reviews help more people like you find our show. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this podcast with someone you think would love it. Until next time, love yourself, love one another, and love the world.